Another day of wrestling ahead for us, and we are actually back with a show that we haven't seen in a little while. It's been a little while since we had an Evolve, and it's nice to be back with an Evolve. I can tell you that they've actually got a pretty big Evolve show lined up for us tonight. There is a championship match, and it does feel like there's a really good chance that we could get a new champion crowned tonight. The reason why I say that is because we know that Jackson Drake and Swipe Right, the Vanity Project, they appeared on NXT, and it seems like they're making their way to NXT, and so it seems like their time in Evolve is probably coming to an end. And so we do have Jackson Drake defending that Evolve Championship tonight against Sean Legacy. And Sean Legacy has felt for quite a while like he is the face of Evolve. For me, he has been appearing on a lot of episodes, in a lot of matches, but a lot of backstage segments. And, he's been that kind of person that's been trying to climb that mountain. And is he going to get that mountain climbed tonight? Is tonight the night that we finally put the belt on Sean Legacy, take that belt off Jackson Drake? Jackson Drake could make his way then to NXT with Vanity Project, with Swipe Right, and maybe we do get a new champion crown. So we've got that match tonight. That's going to be our main event, of course. Championship match, Evolve Championship on the line. As well as that, we've also got Carmen Petrovic, and I know there's a few Carmen Petrovic stands out there. There's a few people out there that are big fans of Carmen, really like what she does and what she brings, and really enjoy her work. She kind of finds herself in Evolve right now. She's been in Evolve for a little while. We haven't really been using her in NXT, although she could find her way back to NXT. What with all these call-ups, we know that Jordan Grace, rumors of Sol Ruka, rumors of Blake Monroe. There's quite a few women that potentially are leaving NXT, which is going to free up some spots. And you got to think someone like Carmen Petrovic, who was being used, could find her way back to that NXT roster. So I don't know. She's in Evolve right now. But how long is she going to stay there? Is she also someone that's about to make her way back to NXT? So Jackson Drake, Sean Legacy for the title. Feels like we could get a title change. Carmen Petrovic against Lainey Luck is who she's taking. This is someone we've not seen before. But Lainey Luck is a big deal when it comes to the WWE ID program. I don't even know if she's the champ. She might be the women's WWE ID champ. I'm not too sure. But Lainey Luck is someone that I know has had quite a bit of buzz around her. So she's going to be in action. So actually that match I think is going to be interesting. And then the third match that they've got lined up for us is Wendy Choo against Chantel Monroe. But this is a no DQ match. So, again, I think that's quite interesting. We could see both of these, or one of these, make their way to the main roster, or the NXT roster, I should say. Chantel Monroe, I think, is certainly someone that could go to NXT. Wendy Choo has spent loads of time on NXT. So, again, both of those feel like they're there or thereabouts. No DQ match. Should be interesting. Just a little bit of spice being added to this episode of Evolve. So breaking the card down, I think there's actually 3 quite interesting matches there with lots of talent that I don't know how long it's going to stay in Evolve for. Lots of talent, top-end talent that could very much find their way to a reshaped NXT. So yeah, that's what we've got tonight. Those are the 3 matches that have been announced. Don't know if there's going to be any surprises, of course. Don't know, kind of, because this is the first show back, the first show of 2026. So we'll have to see if they've got any tricks up their sleeve. Still don't know who the GM is going to be going forward. Of course, it was Stevie Turner. She's not really around anymore, which, no longer with WWE, which is a real shame. I always liked Stevie. I thought she was a pretty good, prime minister, GM type character. So I think she was quite excited for getting back to being a wrestler. I don't know why they didn't have her wrestling. I don't know what that was about. I thought she was injured or something, and so that's why we had her as a GM. But yeah. So there we go. That's our breakdown. I want to jump in the chat. Say hello to people. Hello to Dean. Hello to yes, Adir, is it? Shout out to you. Said, do we think Sol Ruka is going to make it to WrestleMania or the main roster? Yeah, oh, definitely. She'll make it the main roster and she'll make it to WrestleMania. I just don't know when. So I'm not sure if she'll make it to WrestleMania this year, but she'll definitely make it to WrestleMania. In fact, she's already made it to WrestleMania because she was inside of that costume, wasn't she? For, was it WrestleMania 39 when she came down and she was dressed as like an Applejacks kind of character, and she was dancing away at ringside. So technically, she was under a costume, but she has already performed to some degree at WrestleMania, just not in the way that you would think. But she is a fantastic talent. You know, as long as she can stay injury-free, which is obviously going to be the concern considering her moveset and the stuff that she... So she is a wrestler now, but she doesn't have that wrestling background. So, you know, if you think about the innovation... if you think about how the work that she puts in and everything that she does, it's very, very impressive. So the concern is, can she just keep doing that? Can she keep this up for like 10 years without getting injured, like suffering a major knee ligament tear or something, you know? So we'll have to wait and see. I wish her all the best with that. But as long as she can do that, the sky is absolutely the limit. Multiple time women's champ, all that stuff. Yeah. Just don't know when. Main roster, I would say definitely in 2026 at some point. WrestleMania this year might be a bit too early, but maybe next year, 2027, could see her at WrestleMania. So on the main roster, SmackDown or Raw? Well, at the moment, I would put her on SmackDown because we just don't have any babyface women. And there's just, you know, if you think about Julia, who's a heel with that mid-card belt, and you look at the top end of the card, Jade's, and there's just, I mean, she's feuding with B-Fab, she's feuding with Michin. It's got to the point where even Jordan Grace is having to step up to Jade because we just don't have anyone else around to kind of, like, any babyface women. A lot of the women have been sucked into the vortex that is the Women's Tag Team Championship feud. A lot of women have found their way being sucked into, it's like a black hole, and a lot of talent has been sucked into that. And so what is left is kind of, you know, the bare bones, really. So we very much need babyface women for SmackDown. At the moment, I would say Sol Ruka would fit pretty well over there. Obviously, she's in a relationship, or I believe her to be in a relationship with Tyler Bates, who I think is more Raw, but I know that WWE don't really take relationships into consideration unless you're engaged. I've heard that before. You know, wrestlers date all the time. Like, there's lots of dating that goes on. WWE aren't going to, you know, change rosters around and mess around unless your relationship is at a certain point. And I think they draw the line being like you being engaged. So I don't think we need to worry about the Tyler Bate relationship and is that going to play a part or anything like that. Unless they get engaged. And then, even then, you know, I'm not saying they would put Sol Ruka on Raw. They might move Tyler Bate to SmackDown. But, yeah, I think it is SmackDown that needs her more at the moment. Benny, hello. Said, Daze, I'm inspired by the work. You're one of the few to stream Evolve. You are in the 2% that is keeping wrestling alive. Are we doing 2 SmackDown streams? Yes. I always do 2 streams for SmackDown if it's international, mainly because a lot of our American friends, Canadian friends, can't join us for the earlier stream. I know there's a lot of people that use VPNs, but to be honest, a lot of people will just watch it on USA Network, and that does not air until obviously much later in the day. So we were doing that last year, and I was blown away by how many people joined us on both streams. You know, it wasn't like there was a like few hundred people around us. There was, it still felt like the community turned out for that, second stream. And people turned out, obviously, for the first one, because there's a lot of people from Europe and a lot of people that use VPNs. So, yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. It works. You lot seem to enjoy the 2 streams. I can do it. Physically, I can do it. WWE are certainly testing me by adding that extra hour, which means that it'll be 6 hours. So obviously we won't do the 2 hours before. We'll still do an hour before. So we'll probably do an hour before. So both streams will probably be like 4 hours added together. That's 8 hours of streaming. But yeah, I enjoy them. I mean, it's not a chore to watch SmackDown a second time. And the only issue with that second one is, of course, I'm watching the Netflix version, so it means I have to manually pause. So there is that kind of staying in sync and whatever. But to be honest, we had to do that in 2025, and we had to do it at a more crucial time in the year, because the European tour was in February last year. February, I think, going into March, maybe. I know that it was like after Rumble, before Mania. So it was an even worse time. It was like a crucial time. So, yeah, we did it in 2025. We will be doing it again, yes. Lovecat said, thanks for letting us know. Sieb said, when a product is not the greatest, we like to turn to creative. But when do we think it's acceptable for us to look at the current world champs? I feel if a product sucks, we have to look at them. I think that the way that I would look at it is, are the champions giving you consistently bad matches? Are the champions giving you bad promos, right? That's where I would turn to the champions. I think things like, take Cody, for example. A lot of Cody's run is him standing in the ring, cutting a promo, and then having someone come out, basically running their mouth, saying, I'm challenging you. And that's the build. That's it. And then all you get after that is a couple of promo exchanges, and it's time for the match. Like, there is bare bones creative. That's how Logan had his match with Cody. That is how AJ had his match with Cody. Like, it was just, and actually, I mean, that was pretty much the builds for John Cena against Cody at WrestleMania as well last year. So bare bones creative. There's nothing there. I mean, there's nothing for them to fail at. There's nothing for them to get wrong. There's nothing for you to kind of pin on them for being the problem, because there's nothing there for them to be doing. So for me, if there was really good creative, if there was really interesting storylines, and it was the talent that was delivering underwhelming matches and underwhelming promos, and that was where we can point to the talent and say it's the talent, yeah? I mean, again, I don't want to keep picking on her, but there was a reason why I was not a fan of Maxine Dupree being Intercontinental Champion. It's not because I don't like her as a person. I don't know her as a person. But it's because I know that she is not of a level where she is going to deliver consistently good in-ring matches. And actually, if you look at that match on Monday, I think that really let Raw down. And I could have told you that the second you put the belt on Maxine Dupree, that she was going to do that and deliver a performance like that. And that's why I didn't want her having the belt. If you go on Cage Match, that Maxine Dupree-Becky match has got 4 point something out of 10. And this is on like their big first Raw of the year that was hyped up. And people were tuning in, all excited. Was Jericho going to be on the show? And for me, that's where I blame the talent. That's where I blame Maxine. It's not really her fault, because she shouldn't be in that position, but it is her fault because she's not good enough to deliver a 7 out of 10 match, an 8 out of 10 match. Becky is, because we've seen it. Maxine isn't. And that's why I was not a fan of her having the belt in the first place, because I know that you are putting someone in place that is going to underwhelm. You are putting someone in place that's going to underdeliver. And, you know, my score got dragged down on Monday, as did, I would imagine, all of yours, because of that match. It was the lowest rated match on Monday. And it, as I said, on Cage Match got 4 point something. I think our community scored it good 70% It was like good 79%. Really low rating. It doesn't matter where you looked. It didn't matter what review you read. It was the same low score. It under-delivered. That, for me, is where you blame the talent, because you can't really blame the creative so much for the match under-delivering. You could maybe point to the producers, but the pacing of it and, you know, some of the moves being a bit off and sloppy. I mean, can't blame Triple H for that. That's not Triple H. That's not creative. So for me, I look at, say, Cody, for example, which is the one people like to have a go at. And, you know, maybe there's something in him not always taking the right option in his promo. You know, there's a couple of times where I think he could have come out with a better line than he did in his promo. But consistently, I think his match quality is very, very good. You know, I mean, you look at, like, the matches that he delivers, and consistently, it's a very high quality. It's not like watching Jey Uso. I do understand people struggling with Jey Uso matches. I do understand people struggling with, you know, certain people, but I don't personally find Cody a struggle to watch in ring. And I think that he's got a good character. I think the American Nightmare, wearing the suits, he looks the part. He's got the bus. He's got the entrance. Live crowds, you know, are into him. It's not like he's getting booed out the building. I mean, I think the truth of the matter is that some of his promos have kind of lacked a little bit of bite. And I think that the creative has kind of let him down. And I think that people have got to the point, not everyone, but certain people have got to the point where they're now looking for something different. They're kind of bored and they want change. And I do put that down to creative. I don't see what he has failed at. Certainly not match quality wise. But I think, I mean, you could certainly point to their match at WrestleMania as being a disappointment. Him and John Cena was a disappointment. You could certainly point to that. But then if you do that, I'll point to the SummerSlam match and say that was one of the best received matches of the year. So as bad as the WrestleMania match was, the SummerSlam match more like made up for it. So, and I think this feud with Drew is really good. I actually think what we're doing with Cody and Drew at the moment is one of his best feuds. Creatively, I think it's the best thing we've done with Cody. So I know Cody is probably what we're talking about. And, you know, for me, I believe that to be a creative thing. I will concede, though, that I do think Cody could have a bit more bite in his promos sometimes. You know, I think there was a few lines the other day. It's like, I'm not sure that's the best option. And I definitely think there could be, like, you know, a little bit more there. But yeah, if everyone's got their favorites, if people really do want Drew to have a run with the title, that's fine. I'm not down on that. If we was to change, like swap the belt over and give Drew a run, I wouldn't be down on that. That would be fine. I suppose the only thing that I kind of do push back with is letting creative off the hook when I really believe they're the ones that should take the lion's share of the blame for Cody's underwhelming run, you know? And I think what comes out of that I'm quite good at doing this, right? I'm going to pat myself on the back. I'm quite good at putting myself in other people's shoes. So, like, when it comes to Cody, I'm watching Cody at WrestleMania 40 win the belt. I'm watching Triple H say, "You've done it. You know, it's up to us now to, you know, set the table. It's up to us now to set the playing field." You know, I'm looking at Triple H saying that, and then I'm watching what they did for him. You know, I mean, it reminds me a lot of people that were talking at that time about how Cody should not win the belt at WrestleMania 40, because if he does, everything is going to be underwhelming after. And I push back on that, and I still push back on it, because yes, that is true. Like, finishing the story was so big that following it was always going to be difficult, but that is the challenge. Like, that is the job. That's what you sign up for if you work in creative. You know, you can't not do something, because if you do it, trying to follow it is going to be hard. Like, that's exactly the job. Like, that's exactly what creative should be challenged with. Is, you know, like, it's a bit like saying we're not going to end the bloodline because we don't know what to follow it with. You know, at some point, the bloodline is going to run out of steam. And it's just, you know, this is probably why WWE run ideas into the ground, because it's easier to do that than it is to think up of something new. And I think that's a big, big problem with WWE. I think keep running with Judgment Day until there's just no joy there at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, just keep going with it because there's nothing else. I think that's a problem. I think that's a bad mindset. I don't think that's a good mindset to get in. I don't think that's something that should be praised or rewarded, or that to me is just a really bad mindset. If there was anyone in creative, if I was Triple H and anyone in creative said that to me, you're gone, you're fired, I'd have no problems letting you go. I seriously wouldn't, because to me, that is a mindset of, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I can't think of any good ideas. You're basically waving the white flag saying, let's not give Cody the belt because I'm not good enough to think of how I can follow this up. What I need is people in that room that can come up with ideas and can take this to another level. So, you know, having seen a lot of people, a chunk of people saying that, and I disagreed with that, I was very, very interested to see how creative were going to follow up Cody winning at WrestleMania 40. So to see that it has sadly been underwhelming, for me, I am looking at creative going, you messed this up. You messed this up. This was the challenge. This was the mountain. This was what you had to achieve. You know, Cody finished his story, but the challenge for creative had really only just begun. Having Cody chase the belt is easy. It's easy. But, you know, climbing the mountain, I mean, it's a story as old as time, isn't it? Daniel Bryan did it. So many babyface people have done it, trying to climb that mountain, trying to get to that title. Like, I'm going to finish the story like that. That's the easy bit. But giving him the belt and then giving him good creative, that was hard. And I think they really, really dropped the ball. So, yeah, for me, it's a good question. Where do you draw that line? I look at promos. I look at matches. I look at what the characters are doing within the creative they're given, and I kind of score that. And for me, I struggle to see where Cody has dropped the ball, but I don't struggle to see where creative have dropped the ball. Benny said it seems like Ilya Dragunov and Brock Lesnar and Apollo were undefeated in 2025. Very impressive, especially from Apollo, who managed to not make any appearances whilst being undefeated. That is very impressive. I agree. Very impressive. Seems said, Daze, what is the one booking decision, other than the Cena heel turn, that Triple H did that actually shocked you in an exciting way? I'm thinking 2026 is going to give us some out of nowhere, like Punk turning heel, for example. That's another good question, Asib. That's another good question. What was a good booking decision that actually excited me? What was another booking decision that actually excited me, that shocked me? Well, the one I've got in my mind, but I'm not sure it's going to count, is bringing back Evolution. I did not foresee them bringing that back in 2025, the all-women's pay-per-view. So, you know, I don't know if that was a Nick Khan idea. I doubt it. I doubt Nick Khan was the one that turned around and went, shall we do an all-women's pay-per-view again? I would imagine that was probably driven from Triple H. So bringing back that all-women's pay-per-view for the first time since, 2018? And then that going on to be, I think, pretty much unanimously regarded as the best pay-per-view of last year. Was a real highlight. I mean, to me, that Rhea Io match that's on there with Naomi cashing in is one of my absolute favourite matches of the year. I think that was something which I would put praise on. Whether that counts or not, I'm not sure. But for me, that was my favourite PLE of last year. And it featured one of my absolute favourite matches of last year. And I do think that was driven by Triple H. Another one might be that I would put praise on might be the Seth Rollins cash-in, because that's a difficult one, but I think they tried something. I don't think we should sit here and complain about how it's all comfortable and stale and safe, right? I don't think we should sit here and say those things, and then when they try something a little bit outside of the box, moan and complain about it, right? So for me, they tried something where they had Seth fake an injury. Now, work in the locker room, not having the locker room be told and kind of on the same page is very, very controversial, right? It's very controversial. If you are not a fan of that, I do understand, because the mentality has always been it's a show that the performers put on, and they're all in it together, yeah? There's an old saying, you don't work the boys, yeah? You don't work the boys. You don't work the locker room. If you're doing something, you make sure everyone knows and we're all on the same page. But the thing is, they couldn't tell everyone what they were doing because they really needed this to be a secret. They really needed this to be a surprise. And so they couldn't tell everyone. I don't think they did it because they were trying to catch the talent out. Although there could be a bit of that, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think it's more because they wanted to keep it quiet. Because they wanted that moment at SummerSlam where Seth comes out, throws the crutches down, and makes his way down to the ring. Now, that does get a little bit spoiled because I'm sure it leaked before he was, not actually injured. And so there was kind of people wondering if he was going to make an appearance. But you can't blame creative for that. You can't blame creative for that, unfortunately, leaking. I'm not worried about that part of it. I'm just looking at a booking decision that Triple H made that took me by surprise, that I thought was a positive. And I would put that in that category. That is a booking decision that Triple H made that I would say is a positive, because we tried something that we don't really ever do, faking this injury. I mean, don't forget, he had to kind of basically throw a match against LA Knight. LA Knight didn't know what was happening, or at least I don't think he did. I'm not aware that he did. Do you know what I mean? He got that injury during a match. They sacrificed that match with LA Knight at Saturday night's main event. Have Seth being carried out, hobbling out. Then he's on crutches, and all of it was fake. All of it was a plan, just so we could get to SummerSlam, so he could throw the crutches down, come down to the ring, and cash in. You can see the vision of that. You can see what they're trying to achieve with that. Yeah, it might have leaked out. Maybe it didn't, as a result, have quite the same impact as intended. But the original creative, the original idea, I think, was something that I can kind of get behind. The reason why I said I don't think they were trying to catch out the locker room, but maybe they were, is because of WWE Unreal. We know that it's been filmed, and we know that that's going to feature in an episode. And I am wondering if the reaction of the wrestlers finding out that Seth isn't really injured, I am wondering if that is something they were actually looking for as well for that show. So, I don't know. Maybe there was a little bit in them trying to catch out the locker room as well. But I think primarily it was more to do with just making sure we're not going to tell people because we don't want people to find out this isn't actually a real injury. So, I mean, you got to remember, he was going around telling everyone it was real. He was going on interview shows and going down the street on crutches. And there is an Unreal episode that's going to be all about that. So maybe a little controversial. I know some people aren't fans of, the locker room being worked, whatever. But I've got praise for them trying something different, trying something new. Right, let's go down. Daze, with releases approaching, who do we think will be on the chopping block? I don't want to touch that. I don't like to speculating on releases. There's nothing good to come out of that. So there could be releases. There does tend to be releases. Certainly when we've called a few people up and whatever. But I don't want to speculate as to who that could be. I hope that WWE can find a way of honouring all of its contracts. And anyone that decides, like Tommaso, maybe, that doesn't want to re-sign, hopefully we can just find a way of, reducing the budget with people like that have kind of decided themselves that they think they've reached the end of the road. William, hello, shout out to you. Steve said, I don't get why people don't just move people to NXT. Well, I think if you move people to NXT, you've got to reduce the wages. Ridge Holland had his wages reduced because main roster, you get paid like 300,000. NXT 80 to 100,000. I think Ridge said he took a big 6-figure pay cut when he got moved to NXT. I think genuinely they are looking to reduce the budget. So whenever you move people up, you increase the wages. And I think, they don't want that to just keep growing and growing and growing, of course. One of the things about TKO and business is, keeping control of your expenditure, making sure that does obviously not get out of control. So part of it is, if you're going to increase wages for people, then there's a good chance that means you've got to make cuts and saves in other areas. And that might be, losing some people or whatever. If you could turn around to someone and say, look, we're either going to have to let you go or we can send you back to NXT and reduce your wage down. But to be honest, if you've got someone on the main roster that you just cannot find creative for and creatively you've just reached the end of the road, then it might be a case that they just don't think they can do anything with them. I mean, it would be nice to think that you could send them back to NXT, repackage them and go again. But I don't know that that's the way that they necessarily think. Like take Elias, for example. Could he have gone back to NXT and found like a brand new gimmick? Could it have been that we could have tried something else and maybe we could have got something out of Elias moving forwards? I think if you take someone from the main roster, put them back to NXT, you're going to have to greatly reduce the wage. Then you're probably going to have to go through a whole repackage thing. But we've done it, and it's worked in the past. It's not always going to work, though. It worked with Husky Harris and Bray, didn't it? I mean, Bray was Husky Harris. He was on the main roster in the Nexus and all of that. And then went back down to developmental. Completely changed everything about himself, became Bray Wyatt, and the rest was history. So it certainly can work, but I think we can all agree Bray was 1 in a million. I'm not sure that you're going to get that same level of success every time. We put Baron Corbin back to NXT and couldn't find a way forwards. That was one that didn't work out. Baron Corbin went down to NXT and just didn't really change a great deal about himself. There was a good vignette from Baron where he was burning some of his old gear and he had like burn the ships and all this kind of stuff, but he looked the same. His ring gear was largely the same. He just didn't really, it kind of felt like there was a bit of a coat of paint on the same ship, but it was still the same ship. Compared to Bray, who went from being Husky Harris to Bray Wyatt. I mean, that is such a change. But with Baron Corbin, it just sort of felt like, I don't know, man. I don't think he had any thoughts or ideas himself as to what he could do. Certainly, there didn't seem to be any sort of creative spark there. So, yeah. Well, it's not always going to work. So I think there's probably a little bit of that in it, that people have got to take a pay cut, and then, you've got to find something for them, and you just might not have anything, even if they do stay in the system. Big Time said, if we look up and down the main roster, so many wrestlers are doing a lot of nothing, and there's barely any good material. It's hard to get into matches when it feels cold. Well, that's going to be the challenge, isn't it? I mean, I think as we get into WrestleMania season, that's going to sort itself out, because, this is a season of build. This is a season of us building towards Mania, but also building up some matches that won't make Mania. We do get some title matches on that kind of go home SmackDown, go home Raw. There's a few matches there that don't quite make the 2 days, and we got to build those as well. And of course, you're going to need some sort of match being built for post Mania. Although, to be honest with you, Raw after Mania tends to be kept quite open, because we do the odd rematch, and we do the odd call up, and we do the odd surprise. And we do the odd, we like to keep it relatively, a lot of WrestleManias will tune into that Raw not knowing anything that's on that show. But there'll be some matches, certainly on those go-homes, that will have, build as well. So this is going to be a season, really, February, March, of, building. I mean, even Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble, obviously, are all building and contributing towards getting the right pieces in the right places for WrestleMania. So I don't think it's going to be a period where we have to worry too much about that. WrestleMania season's great for that. Once we get past WrestleMania, then, then we'll have to see where we are creatively in 2026. We'll have to see what feuds we've got coming out of it. We'll have to see if these new creative teams are firing differently. We know that there have been some changes to those creative teams. You would like to think there's been some lessons learned as well as a result. I mean, it's not about just changing people, but also, has there been some writers that maybe have not been with the company too long, just a year or two, that maybe are really learning how the wrestling world works and the kind of nuances of WWE? Perhaps they're a bit more experienced. We'll have to wait. Perhaps it's not going to work and you're going to have to get rid of them. I don't know. I mean, what we can say, and I think we can agree on, is that the creative teams weren't right in 2025. And we have seen some change to those teams. Ryan Ward, I think his name is now overseeing the Raw and SmackDown creative process. And then, so he sits just below Triple H. So actually, there's seemingly now a buffer between those two teams and Triple H. There's that's getting fed into Ryan, and Ryan is the one that's kind of checking everything, and then it'll get to Triple H. So, there has been this change that's been brought in. That says to me that they are aware that it was not right. That says to me that there has been some conversation or pressure. I mean, I think Nick Khan and Triple H speak all the time, but, it's very clear that attendances have dropped a bit and TV ratings have dropped a bit. It's very clear that the company had a cooler year last year than I think they would have wanted. And so it's clear you've got to do something about that. And I certainly don't think it's the talent. It's about how you are using that talent and the momentum of that talent and all of that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it just keeps coming back to the creative. I mean, you're right. If you've got a load of people that feel cold, they feel cold because they're not getting wins, momentum, their characters are not good enough. That comes down to presentation. That comes down to creative. Again, as Steve was asking earlier, at what point do you point the finger at the talent? Well, if there are promo segments where the delivery is poor, if there are matches where the matches are poor, that for me is where you can start pointing to the talent. That for me is where, you can start saying that this person's struggling, I mean, I think Tiffany struggled. I think that Tiffany was doing well, and then I think we saw everything she had to show us. And I think that I don't know if she was getting burnt out. I mean, she's had a bit of time away, hasn't she? So I don't know if there was anything to her needing a break. I mean, she was running pretty hard. She was champ for quite a while. She was being used on a lot of shows. That's a lot of travel. That's a lot of stuff that she would not have been exposed to before. As I said, going from NXT to the main roster, it's a big jump. I mean, NXT, you're just basically in the same building every Tuesday, sorry. So you're basically in the same building. You're not having to travel around the country or the world. Whereas she's going off to Australia, she's going on European tours, she's all over America, going to Canada, That's a lot of flying, that's a lot of traveling, that's a lot of performing. I could see that burning her out, honestly. I could see that leading to some sort of burnout. And I just felt like with her, we were getting diminishing returns. I think not helped by the fact she had to work with Jade, to be honest. I don't think anyone's going to get a great deal out of Jade, right? I think even Sammy would struggle to get a banger out of Jade. So probably not helped by that. I think didn't she also have a match with like Trish? Which you would think would be amazing, but, Trish is very inactive, to be honest. I could imagine Trish being actually quite difficult to work with. Because, yes, she's a legend. Yes, she's experienced. But, one of the things Undertaker always said was that wrestling once a year at WrestleMania was so difficult because your body was not used to taking bumps. You cannot fake being in ring shape. Like, you can work out and do training and all that stuff, but actually wrestling matches is really the only way you can get into wrestling shape. And if you've not been having wrestling matches, it is so difficult to just get in there and put in the performance that you want to, if you've not been wrestling, like, matches leading up to it. The other thing as well is as you get older, your body stops doing the things that you want it to do. It's not as explosive. It's not as athletic. You can try and put a smile on your face and paper over the fact that you're not as young as you used to be. But, the truth is still the truth. So I think with someone like Trish, we look at her and we're still reminiscing about the Attitude Era. I mean, we're over 20-odd years removed from the Attitude Era. To think that you're going to get a banging match out of Trish in 2025, 2026, when she never wrestles. She is a legend. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm saying this is true of, like, any legend. It's hard, challenging to come back and just put on a match out of nowhere. So I think, Tiffany was certainly not helped with, the people she was facing. Maybe if she was in a feud with Rhea, going into a feud with Io, going into a feud with Asuka, going into a feud with these big names. But for some reason, she wasn't. She was having to battle the likes of Nia Jax, battle the likes of Trish, battle the likes of Jade. And, I think as a result, we were really seeing her performances kind of diminishing, and now she's had a bit of a break. I do wonder if there was a little bit of burnout there. She'll be back. She'll recharge. I expect her to be back. Maybe the Rumble, maybe before. I certainly expect her to come back, and hopefully she can come back rejuvenated, a bit more experienced, maybe even spent some time at the PC kind of working on a few things. I mean, she's got such a bright future. For her to be able to do what she's done with only a few years training is honestly so impressive. She's someone else I feel really sorry for, to be honest with you. We are really... I think WWE are very aware that they need to be bringing through new talent. I mean, when people talk about where's the next generation of stars... I mean, I actually think WWE are doing quite a bit to try and bring that generation through. I mean, if you look at, like, the responsibility they've given Julia and Stephanie and Tiffany and Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, and as much as we might not like it, I don't think Logan Paul is going anywhere. You know, Gunther is, 38, 39? I mean, potentially he's still got 6 years plus in the business. You know, it's not crazy to think Gunther's going to be around WrestleMania 48, WrestleMania 49 time. So, I mean, he's still got plenty of years ahead of him. So he might not be a spring chicken like Javon, but he's certainly someone that can see us through this next phase, this next 5 years. Javon, obviously, at like the age of 22. I mean, Roxanne is a baby. I think she's about that age as well. She might even be just a little older than Javon. She might be 23, whatever. I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan, believe it or not, is still super young. I think Rhea Ripley is about 28, which is mental. And you've got Austin Theory, who's, you know, about that age as well. There's a chunk of people that you would be surprised how young they actually are. And Rhea Ripley and Austin Theory are a couple of those names, actually. But, of course, you know, Trick Williams coming up now, Obafemi coming up now. You know, there's Dominic Mysterio. Oh, God, how could I forget Dominic Mysterio? I mean, he's been super pushed. I mean, being used in Mexico, AAA being used on the main roster. So, you know, there is this chunk of talent that they are trying to drive through that I think they see certainly in the next 5 years being covered. You know, we are looking for that next Roman Reigns. I think some people would point to Trick, would point to Oba, would point to Braun, might point to Jacob. I mean, let's not forget about Jacob. Jacob is someone that probably slips the mind because we haven't seen him in a hot minute. Age-wise, he is 33. Jacob's got 12 years. I always think 45. So Jacob's got 12 years. That means that Jacob could still be competing at WrestleMania 54. And at WrestleMania 54, he'll be 45 years old, which is still fine. I mean, certainly if you look at Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, whatever. So, you know, I think they are trying to bring through talent. They are. It's just, I think the average age of the top end of the card, men's-wise, is probably a bit older than some people would like to see. But that can change real quick, you know, with Obafemi coming through, Trick Williams coming through, Bron Breakker, and so on. Aaron, hello, says, do we think everyone starting on the main roster should go through the same cycle of mid-card first? I think someone like Oba should go straight to Cody level. He's got a different level of aura. I think that I don't think everyone should go through the same cycle, no. I would still be reluctant to move too quickly. I mean, I think Brock Lesnar got to the title in like 6 months. So I would say that is probably the quickest I would want to move. I mean, there was some people saying about have Oba go after the title at Mania this year. I wouldn't do that. I think where you've got a talent that is so new, I think that you can easily get through 6 to 12 months with just continuing to build that aura. You see, Oba's got that aura to us because we've been watching NXT. But there's a lot of kids and a lot of casuals that have not watched NXT. So for them, they're only now finding out about Oba. Some people might have seen him for the first time at Saturday night's main event, you know, the John Cena thing. So you bring Oba in at the Rumble, you know, give him like the record for eliminations or have him up there with record of eliminations, have him absolutely running roughshod, give him a massive feud for WrestleMania, singles match, have him win WrestleMania looking good, have him look good in the King of the Ring tournament. I mean, if he was to win that King of the Ring tournament and then go after the title at SummerSlam, that would be quick, wouldn't it? That would be fast. But that would be, for me, the earliest that I would want to move. I think that there's so much time that what you kind of want to do is, and this is a bit of a dark secret when it comes to like creative, is sometimes you know what the right thing to do is. You know what people want. You know where you need to get to. Like, for example, Cody being champion, finishing the story. That's money, right? WWE knew that the second that Cody came in at WrestleMania 38. There's money in telling the fans, this is a Rhodes, Dusty's son, Goldust's brother. This is a Rhodes. They've never won the WWE title. It would mean a lot to them if they did. And, here's a kid that wants to do it for his dad, for himself, for his brother, for his family. And, by the way, his dad's no longer with us and is an absolute icon that everyone loves. I mean, there is just money to that story, isn't there? WWE knew that the second they brought him back at WrestleMania 38. So do you do that story and get it done in 6 months? Or do you build that story? I mean, to be honest, Triple H was ready to pull the trigger at WrestleMania 39 a year later. So Triple H built it for 12 months. But I believe it was at that point, it was Vince that actually says, milk it a bit more. Not now. So, I think going into that, there was a good chance that Cody was going to get the belt at 39. I think it was Vince that says, no, keep milking this. There's more we can get out of this. I think we would agree that was the right decision on reflection, and that actually pulling the trigger at 40 was a better decision. I think with Oba, we know that he's got aura, and we know that he is going to be an amazing champion. He's going to be like a Brock Lesnar type, he's going to just destroy people. He's going to be a mountain that people are going to have to try and get past, But there's so much time. Why do we need to rush? Why do we need to rush? Why can't it just be a case that we know that and we kind of keep building him? We don't have him take losses or mess him around. We just keep him building him, slowly building him. He's there. And you just allow the fans to have these conversations of like, oh my God, this guy, when he gets the belt, it is going to be so sick. And actually just allow the fans that time, that opportunity to fan book, to kind of speculate and go, this is going to be so good. When Oba gets to that belt, it is going to be so good. And just allow the fans the opportunity to do that. That's why for me, there's no fire. There's no rush. I think you can delay it too much. I think there is a line where you can go a bit too far. And you can milk it a bit too much, and then you get into that sort of Judgment Day territory where it's like, oh my God, are you going to split this group up, or are you just going to forever tease it? Like, oh my God, please do something, yeah, rather than just constantly teasing it. I mean, you don't want to be sat here in like 2, 3, 4 years and Oba's still not been champ. I'm not saying that. But I don't know, bringing him in and just having him go straight after Cody winning the belt, it's like, I think you're probably not allowing the fans the opportunity to talk about, I think this guy is going to be champ, I think he can do it. I think he's going to be amazing. Like, I think fans like that sort of conversation. Give them a chance to see it maybe before you do it, and to have conversations about it, and then you can pull the trigger on it. Because it's one of those where, let's say LA Knight has got the title, World Heavyweight title, and people are like, yeah, he's done it, he's at the top, this is amazing. And then you just get a glimpse of Oba. Like, maybe there's, I don't know how you would do it, but you just get a glimpse of Oba and it's just like, oh my God, he might have the belt, but that guy is coming. And it's just that sort of shark in the water, It's just that sort of threat on the horizon. It's like, yeah, it's good now, but is it going to be good forever? So I think there's something to that. There's some value to that. So I wouldn't delay it to the point where it becomes, I'm bored of this now. Can you just put the belt on him? But I think there is a little something to not just, right, belt on him, done. Let's get it done quickly now. I want the belt on him now. I suppose what I'm saying is not giving people what they want immediately, making them wait is frustrating for the fans, but that is a little bit of the secret sauce, actually. We're going to give this to you. It's just you don't know when you're going to get it. Okay, 2B coming up. I've got it lined up. It is a minute away. 2B. Apparently, this episode goes for 51 minutes. Daze, if Mercedes came back to WWE, would she be Sasha? I think she'd be given that choice, to be honest. I mean, Matt Cardona's come back, and he has said he doesn't want to be Zack Ryder. He wants to be Matt Cardona. And they've done that for him. I think they would like her to be Sasha because she was Sasha before. And so, for continuity, I think they would like her to be Sasha. Obviously, she was known as Sasha. You can change the name. It's not a massive problem. But I think they would probably like her to be Sasha. Just keeps the back catalogue and everything she does kind of all in sync. But, you know, I would point to Matt Cardona coming back as Matt Cardona as an example where we can change a name. No problem. So if she desperately wanted to come back and she wanted to be Mercedes, then I think they would do that for her. Okay, we are underway. Aaron said, I'm not saying it should be straight away, but I would put him around that main event scene from the jump. The only problem with that, though, is if you put him in the main event scene, does he not have to win? How are you gonna string it out for long enough? If he goes straight into that main event scene, I don't know how you are going to not have him be victorious, to be honest. I think I'd keep him away from the main event scene, but have him... And, you know, I'm not saying I'm right. You could be correct. But I think I'd keep him just outside of the main event scene. And I would have him in, like, a really interesting feud. You know, him, Braun Strowman is the kind of thing. You do him against Braun Strowman, two big men going at each other. Really good feud. He gets the better of it. And, you know, you've just kind of... You know, he kind of has a confrontation with the champ, lets them know that he's come in. Here's Sean Legacy. I've got these headphones on, but the sound's not actually coming through them. Oh, yeah, last time we watched this was that gauntlet thing. That was interesting. That gauntlet thing was interesting, wasn't it? Casey, hello. Hope you're doing well. If I don't win tonight, I don't know what's going to happen to Evolve, says Super Sean Legacy. So, Sean Legacy against Jackson Drake for that championship tonight. And I think there is a good chance he's going to get the win. It does feel like Jackson Drake is heading towards NXT. Okay, we are underway with Evolve. Casey, hello. Shout out to you. Just to wrap up what we were saying, I do agree with Aaron. I think it doesn't have to be one size fits all. I think it'd be a bit boring if everyone went in the same path. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Oba. Okay, here is Carmen Petrovic. She's making her way down to the ring. And we are back with Evolve. Okay, Robert Stone said she's on a bit of a roll here in Evolve. She's still coming out with the sword, which I'm not sure about. Okay, she's taking on Lainey. Look, we have not seen Lainey. Look. Two turned. Oh, she's bubbly. Oh, yeah, she did win the Evolve Championship. Oh, the WWE Championship. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. They showed the replay of her, and it kind of cut part of her entrance. I didn't mind the entrance graphics. I don't know what two turned means. Is that something the kids are saying? The theme was obviously pretty generic. I don't know what the gimmick's meant to be. I don't think there is one, to be honest. It felt a little bit seedy, actually, because it was like red brick wall with some graffiti on. Kind of felt a little bit like neon strip club kind of vibes for the presentation. But then the music, I suppose the music might have been a bit that. But then she's coming out all bubbly and everything. Like, she wasn't coming out sexy. I don't know. The presentation, my first reaction is I don't quite know what we're aiming for. And I don't know what turnt is. Pete Rosenberg just said to Mr. Stone, I don't need you using the word turnt. Apparently she's too turnt. I'm going to search what turnt means. It's slang meaning excited, intoxicated, wild, party music. So perhaps it's meant to be like a party vibe. I suppose it was like EDM entrance music. Because of the red brickwork, I was getting like Vice vibes, but I don't think that's what they were going for. Okay, she's got a chant. I've never heard of Turnt. It's an American teen dream TV show as well. Started in 2018. Turnt. Apparently it means intoxicated, wild, having a great time, often at a party with music, alcohol, or drugs. I can't support that. I can't sit here and support the promotion of drugs. Carmen is in control anyway at the moment. Pretty standard stuff at the moment. It's all Carmen as Lady Turnt goes down. Nice knee coming in there by Carmen. That looks good. That's not a gimmick that's going to get her over, said Shining Wizards. Roper said Turnt is to hype. Oh, that was nice side slam, though, by Choo. Oh, kick out by Lainey. I don't mind the Lainey look. Lainey looks okay. Lainey look. It's a bit like Lady look, but Lainey look. She's climbing up. She's on that middle rope and tries to stomp down Carmen with a super kick. That was nice. Nice sell by Lainey. That's a nice kick. She's got some good kicks, Carmen. Not a great deal you can say in ring wise there from Lainey, to be honest. There was nothing off. It was fine. It was short. Welcome, Lainey, says Carmen. Okay. Well, we got to see her. Who knows? Lainey might go on to some big things and we can be like, we saw her first match in WWE. Okay, we're backstage with Vanity Project. All right. Oh, yeah. Sam Holloway. I'm so excited by Sam Holloway. He's got a good size to him. Towers over Jackson Drake as well, the current champ. Cappuccino. That's why they call you Cap Jones, because you're a filthy liar. I don't like what they've done with Holloway. He feels a bit generic. Ooh. Ooh, she could lose that belt, couldn't she? Kendal against PJ Vasa against Callie Armstrong. Kendal could lose that. I mean, she's NXT now. She's NXT. You don't win the Iron Survivor Challenge and put in a performance like she did. Amazing performance on NXT this week. And just stay in Evolve as the champ. She's probably dropping that title. Chantel Monroe against Wendy Choo. No DQ match coming up next. Yeah, Sam Holloway, just they've made him feel a bit generic. I think he could carry a gimmick. Okay, these two have been feuding for a little while. Tony said, I didn't realise Carmen had met AEW's Mina in Vegas last year. Don't know. I can't actually see the chat. My camera's blocking it. Robbie, hello. With reports seemingly saying that Britt Baker won't wrestle with AEW, do you think WWE will grab her despite the backstage stuff? They're hiring anyone. We've spoke about that before, actually, and I've said that I think she's a great talent. I mean, I remember watching her in, like, 2020, 2021, her and Thunder Rosa. She was doing great work, honestly. I think where she struggled is I think she was going through some personal stuff. Obviously, her relationship with Adam Cole broke down. I think she might have had, like, some injuries to deal with. Plus, also, she kind of, I think, struggled with losing her spot as well. You know, she was the top of the tree, and then here comes Tony Storm. Here comes Jamie Hayter. Here comes Mercedes. And before you know it, you know, you've gone from being top of the tree to now struggling to get on the show. I'm not, you know, saying that that's a reason or a good enough reason to be difficult. But I think she's gone through some stuff, you know. If I was WWE, I don't know how old she is. How old is Britt Baker? She's 34. Yeah, if I'm WWE, I'd be tempted to have a word with her and see where her head's at right now. And, you know, these are the kind of questions you could ask her in an interview, isn't it? Can you talk to me about, you know, what was going on in AEW? Can you talk to me about this reputation? As unfair as it might be, obviously I need to kind of understand better. And, you know, if she can give you, like, an answer that you feel quite satisfied with, maybe you just, you know, take it a step at a time, see how she goes, give her a 12-month contract, take it from there. She's good in ring. I mean, she's a good talent. She's got experience. She'd be in a good addition to the NXT roster, and she could be a good addition for the main roster. But yeah, there is a concern there, isn't there? But was it just a really bad time in her life? Right now we've got no DQ match, and right now we have Wendy Choo putting Chantal upside down in a trash can as she delivers a drop kick. So, drop kick there by Wendy. As in the trash can was Chantal. There's a monitor underneath the ring. Shining was said, I think it's good they've got Shiloh working with Stax next week, because Stax is a good hand for newbies. Oh, the table is out, and it is a Slim Jim table. Let's go. Let's flippin' go. Right. Shiloh needs a dentist by his side, said Tony. Maybe DMD. I thought she was good, honestly. 2020, 2021. I mean, for a long time, a lot of people were saying the best women's match that they'd ever had was Britt Baker against Thunder Rosa from the pandemic, from Daly's place. So I think she's definitely got something that she can provide. And she's going to bring great experience as well. I mean, being, kind of a top performer in AEW in the earlier years, it might have passed her by now. I think there's something there, though. The only concern I would have for her would be, we know there was talk of, backstage drama and issues. I got to be honest, though, I don't know. I don't think I know all of those stories. I mean, you might have heard a hell of a lot more than I have. So, what's true, what's been exaggerated, what's been, what's just been completely made up. You got to, as well as that, though, I mean, she might find herself in a position now where, she's fallen from grace a little bit and has been a bit humbled, if those stories are true. It might be that she was fighting to not lose that spot and now it's gone. I mean, as far as I know, she's not been used on TV much. And a lot of people are wondering where she's disappeared to. Wonder if, that has kind of humbled her a little bit, if those stories are true. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd certainly be, if I worked for WWE, willing to have a conversation with her. I mean, no harm in that. In the chair goes Chantal. So there was just a little commercial break. I can tell you right now, I am at 15, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. That's where I am. 15:35. As Wendy gets that chair, drives it into the midsection. I'm going to end the poll for that first match. It was all right. I am surprised 5% thought it was an all-time match. But 64% thought it was good. Comes out as good 93. Wendy with a German on Chantal. We've had a trash can. We've had a chair. Wendy going for the cover as Chantal kicks out. Working at a decent pace, these two. Wendy keeping Chantal grounded. She is trying to put her to sleep at the moment. We know our main event tonight, of course, is going to be for that Evolve Championship. There's some... Is that... I don't even know what that is. That hairspray. She's trying to put it right in the eyes. Right in the eye. Lovely super kick. Lovely super kick there by Chantal. Wendy goes down. I tell you what, they've come out the gate here with some energy. Nice pace to the match, and I think it helps it's no DQ. It means that we've got, hairspray or whatever being used. Trash cans, chairs, like a Meteora through a trash can. Kick out by Wendy. So Chantal jumps off the corner, double knees, Meteora driving Wendy through a trash can. I mean, that felt like it could have been the finish. Maybe just a touch too early in the match for it to be the finish. Chair on the head of Wendy. Chantal going over to the corner. She's going to the outside. She's climbing up. Chantal looking to jump down. Oh, that trash can hurled over to Wendy. Wendy moving the chair. There's a chair that's on the ground. She's picking up Chantal, but she reverses. DDT into the chair. Chantal almost gets the 3. Shoulder up. Shining Wizard said there's an interesting story out today about the people that were released last year. They could still be in 2K26, but their association with the aligned brands in WWE, maybe. I'm not sure how that works. I think they tend to... I mean, obviously, this is something that the game has had to update. And anyone that gets added tends to be DLC. Anyone that's in the game that needs to be hidden, I think they can do it quite quickly. So when that game comes out, I will be surprised if there's anyone that was cut last year that's in it. They probably got scanned and put in the game, but I think it's quite easy to lock them away or remove the files or whatever. Or hide the files. Okay, looks like that hairspray or whatever was used again there by Wendy as Chantal is being put onto this table. It is a weird positioning. I'm interested to see what she's going to go for here. Oh, she's moved out the way. Big shot coming in there by Chantal. I don't know what the referee's looking to do there. Chantal having a word with Wendy. What are we going for here? A dirt nap on the middle rope. Is she going to, hurl her onto that table? Chantal has been, choked out. Wendy having to sort of reposition a little bit here. What is she thinking? Oh! That was nice. Driving Chantal through that table, and that is surely the end. Wendy Choo gets the pin, gets the win. Not a bad little contest. Had some moments. Okay, let's get people's thoughts about that. Little bit sloppy, I would say, with the finish in regards to she put a dirt nap on, then she had to sort of reposition herself so that she could sort of uranagi her through that table. But it was a match that definitely had moments. We're just seeing some of the highlights right now. That was nice. I mean, that uranagi was nice when she repositioned. Shining Wizard said they locked away Stephanie as a fighter after 2 months. Interesting. Okay, Chewy is at ringside having a word with Wendy. Chewy. For a long time, I lived in silence, but that's over. I want to show the real me. I'm going to put them to sleep. Okay, so she's come in for that women's championship. And she says, whoever that woman is, I'm going to put them to sleep. So it looks like she's moving on from Chantal Monroe. Oh, Grey Graps has arrived. Once I beat Callie and PJ, I'm going to beat you again. This is making me wonder if Kendal's actually going to win later, because these two are face-to-face right now, and it feels like we're building something here, doesn't it? I mean, these two are exchanging a few words. Wendy Choo's like, you ain't beating the new me. Okay. Little hype package here. Is this Trill London? London, yeah. I like this. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind this vignette at all, man. This is good. Okay, I like this. Good video. Good, really good. I mean, I feel like, what did they just manage to communicate there? They just communicated that he was with the Miami Dolphins. He got into wrestling thanks to his grandma putting on Judgment Day back in 2007. His clothes are kind of, you know, thrown together by himself. It's a way of him expressing himself. That's why he wears what he wears. It obviously had like a pretty cool, chilled hip-hop sort of vibe to the presentation. I mean, within that minute, 2 minutes, whatever, you've just managed to communicate a lot about Trill London there. And that's good. Honestly, there's more character development in that 2 minutes than we get with a lot of the flipping wrestlers on the main roster. Right. The state of WWE is a bit rough right now, said Akeem, with injuries. Multi-investors expecting big output and angry fans. New roster, old superstars. Good luck, Triple H. That's the job, innit? That is the job. That is the gig. That is what you have to make work. There's no way you're going to please everyone. I don't think you should go into it trying to do that. But can you please the masses? That's the job, yeah. Okay, what we got here? Cam Hendricks, who I think is Anthony Luke, was it? Only seen him once. Yeah, he was on LFG, but I've yet to watch that. No, I didn't like that. What did I learn about him? If you look at what we just got from the Trill London one, and then compare what we just got from that, I learned loads about Trill London. I didn't learn anything about Cam Hendricks. And actually, what I got at the end was a very weird smile. All right, here's Nikita. Ariana. Is this going to be a tag match? Oh my god, Nikita is so annoying. I mean, I think she's meant to be. She does it very well. Okay, Jackson Drake. We certainly know a lot about him. I think they said coming up next is going to be that championship match. Rob said Cam Hendricks seems as deep as a mud puddle. Hopefully someone has got him some new gear as a wrestling gift, as a wedding gift. Name change and still wearing the old initials on his... Oh, is he really? Is he? I didn't even notice. Well spotted if that's true. I didn't notice. I think we only saw him once. I think I've only seen him once. I never watched LFG. Trini, hello. Hope you're doing well. Said, I'm happy to see that he is delegating, accepting help and input from others. A collaborative effort is always better than a one-man show. I don't know what's that in relation to. Trini, I hope you're well. Are we getting 20-minute Evolve main events? Well, time-wise, I'm 28 minutes for... Oh, yeah, we got 51 minutes in total. So, I mean, yeah. Yeah, we have got a long time. That does kind of point to this being a bit of a banger, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. Entrances. Super Sean Legacy is making his way out. Time for our main event. Are we going to get some after, maybe? That is pretty fun. Sean Legacy doing a slow-mo high five with a fan. He's been kind of the face of the men's division, along with Jackson Drake. He was someone that we thought could have won that title and been the initial champion, but they went with Jackson Drake. I think that makes sense and it works because obviously Sean could get it here now. But also it kind of helped build up Vanity Project. Here's Jackson Drake. We know that he's making his way to NXT. There's a chance that he drops the belt here. We've already seen the first women's champ lose her title. Callie dropped it to Kendal. Jackson is the first and only men's champ so far. But the other thing as well is, you know, Kendal is still women's champ. She's been used on NXT a little bit. It's not impossible to carry that Evolve Championship and be on NXT. So he doesn't have to lose it here, Jackson Drake. Let's do a poll, shall we? See what you lot think. Who is going to leave as champion? Is it going to be Jackson Drake or is it going to be Super Sean Legacy? In regards to that last match, you lot said it was good 100%. So you enjoyed the second match more than the opening match. But main event time coming up. Obviously, this gets a bit of a special intro. Sean Legacy. Are we doing impacts? We don't do impact, but can't wait to see what is next for NXT Championship. Are we going to get a tournament to see who that next breakout star is? We could do. They had a conversation, didn't they, with a lot of that talent. Ava. I couldn't figure out, though. She didn't say if they were doing a tournament or if she was just basically sending a message of, you know, there's an opportunity here. Okay, here we go. We are underway. Jackson Drake, Sean Legacy. Chop coming in. Ricky Smokes sucks is the sign in the crowd. Ricky Smokes sucks. Sean with Jackson, hurling him into the corner. Chop coming in. Nice hip toss there by Sean Legacy. Kick coming into the back. 1, 2. I mean, because we know that we still got so much time to go. I mean, obviously, it feels like this is going to get some time, so there's not going to be much drama when it comes to these early pinfalls. Face first, Jackson Drake going into that top turnbuckle. Smashing him into that top turnbuckle. Sean Legacy. Again, bang. Down he goes. We got the hot ref again, says Angel. Yeah, she tends to be kind of based in Evolve. We tend to get her each week. Oh, lovely work there by Sean Legacy. Kick coming into the back. Legacy in control in the early stages. Grabbing a hold there of Jackson Drake. Lovely suplex. Shining Wizard said Drake needs to bulk up a little bit. I think Ober's going to go to SmackDown on Friday, said Kieran. Yeah, I could see that, but... Glockness said, I fast-forwarded through the ads and there's about 15 minutes left, says Glockness. Chop coming in as Jackson Drake goes down. Sean Legacy coming over, grabbing him. Over in the corner goes Jackson Drake. Legacy comes in. Big chop. Big chop. Down goes Jackson Drake. Kick coming into the back. He's sick of, before matches, hearing himself being called challenger, says Robert Stone. Sean Legacy wants to be the man. But to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that's exactly what we've got right here, as we've got a crossface being applied by Sean Legacy. It's all Sean Legacy in the early stages. Jackson Drake managing to grab a hold of the ropes. He gets out of the ring, and it looks like we're going to commercial. I'm at 34:18, so I've got about 15, 16 minutes to go. Robbie said, I saw on X the talent left for Germany today. European and Canadian crowd should be fire for the next month. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Trini said, it's exceedingly hot every time a man can rise over his ego, says Trini. I hope to do that one day. One day. Can't wait to see what is next for the NXT Championship, says Roper. Yeah, a tournament for that would be interesting. I agree. I genuinely think that's the reason, or the main reason why they didn't go with Leon, is I think they want that sort of scramble. They want that sort of, there's a belt that's available. Who's going to get it? You know, rather than just pass the torch, which you could have done, and we have seen done before. People lose in their final match, sort of passing the torch before they go to the main roster. But this time at the start of the year, I think they've decided, and maybe because of Oba having that aura, just protect it. Not that I think it matters, but whatever. So yeah, I think it is going to make NXT a bit interesting now as we try and figure out who is going to get that title. To be honest with you, I hope it's not Ricky. Because Ricky already has had a little run with the belt. For him to just get it back again... I'd actually, if you remember when JC won the belt from Stephanie, it was a bit of a surprise, but it worked. I'm down for us putting the belt on someone that's not Ricky and not Ethan. I don't know who that person is, but I'm down for us putting it on someone that's not Ricky, not Ethan. They feel like the most obvious too. Who that leaves you, I'm not sure. I mean, you can throw out names like Josh Briggs, but, you know, people are going to be like, oh, he's not ready. You can throw out names like Miles Bourne, and people will be like, he's not ready. You can throw out names like Dion Lennox, people will be like, he's not ready. But, I don't know. I think people would have said JC was not ready as well when she got it, because that was a shock when she got the belt from Stephanie. I think it would be a bit disappointing if it was just either Ricky or Ethan that ends up getting it, you know? It's going to be interesting, I agree. Let's sit back and enjoy. Maybe we should just put it on Thea Hale by mistake. That was pretty fun. Right, we've got Elimination Chamber being advertised. We are 36, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. That's where we are as we got a bow and arrow. Bow and arrow by Sean Legacy right in the middle of the ring. Pulling back. Knees in the back. Glockner said they need their camera work together. They're not supposed to get a close-up of wrestlers putting their hands up to protect from a ring post bump, says Glockness. Working on the arm. A lot of people are saying Tony D'Angelo, but I don't think so, said Shining Wizards. He is an option. I'm not a hater of that. That does fit my not Ethan, not Ricky scenario. They're trying to repackage him as well. They're trying to give him a new character. I mean, we haven't heard him speak yet. I don't know if he's still going to be doing the Italian accent. Into the ring steps hard. Yeah, Swipe Right are a big fan of what they're seeing at the moment. Sean Legacy getting hurled into those ring steps. And right now, Jackson is standing on the arm of Sean Legacy. Referee coming around, having a words. Getting Sean Legacy back in the ring. This is for the Evolve Championship. Sean Legacy being kept grounded at the moment, jumping down on that arm. Bit of targeting of a limb. Sean Legacy still down. You can see Brad Baylor giving him some words of encouragement there to Jackson Drake. Taking that tape off the shoulder. We've seen that quite often, actually. We saw that on NXT this week. Thea Hale, I think, had her sort of tape removed by Izzy Dane. Right now, we got Jackson Drake pulling back on the arm there of Sean Legacy. We got Tate Wilder, Aaron Rourke, Cappuccino Jones, I believe, watching on in the VIP segment. Jackson Drake going for a pin. No joy. Sean Legacy's got a bit too much about him still. Looking for the cover to... No, not even quite a two. Oh, kick out on one is quite rare to see these days. Normally wrestlers leave it to 2.9, but a kick out on one, I'm down for that. Working on the arm again there, Jackson Drake. Nice shot coming back there by Sean Legacy. Round the back of Jackson Drake is... Yeah, that work on the arm is starting to bear fruit now. Goes over... And right now we've got... Ooh, we've seen him do that a few times. Jackson Drake, that kind of standing moonsault, landing on his knees. Seen him do that a couple of times. I'm not sure what he calls it, and I have no idea how it doesn't hurt. Crowd applauding away. As Sean Legacy gets up on his feet. He's on the shoulders there of Jackson. Elbows coming in there by Legacy. Legacy down on his feet. Back elbow there by Drake. Nice enziguri kick. Jackson Drake looking to go against the ropes. Comes back, gets caught into a German. That was sick. That's the best moment of the night. That was the best moment of the night so far. Jackson Drake going against the ropes, like a handspring off the ropes, coming back, getting caught seamlessly as well, getting caught straight into a German. That was nice. That was nice. Smooth, like a fine single malt. That was good. Right now, we got a WrestleMania advert as we've just jumped to commercial break. I'm at 41:24. I've got the ad skipper, and I fast-forwarded, so I'm just way ahead, said Steve. Well, look at you, Steve. Living your best life. Michael said, did you know AEW Wrestling's on now? What's that? Edward said, Blake versus Izzy is going to be interesting. Will Blake get her precious back? Her precious. Right, we're back to the action as we are now into the final 10 minutes. Bang. Stomp coming in there by Sean Legacy. Oh, lovely. That was like a Death Valley driver. He goes over the top, comes down onto Jackson Drake on the outside. Legacy hurling Drake back in the ring. Legacy up, springboard, lovely. 450 connects. Ah. I don't know why I'm so invested. I mean, there's still 10 minutes to go. But, yeah, we've done some building, and now we're doing some cooking. Yeah. What we did at the start of this match was we got our ingredients together, and now what we're doing is we're cooking. Couple of nice spots there. I really like that German before the ad break, and lovely little spot there. Kick coming in there by Jackson. In the corner, crossbody. Sean Legacy gets out the way. Nice moonsault, grabs, picks him up. Oof. Driver goes for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out there by Jackson Drake. Maybe still a bit too early for the finish. It was a lovely driver. Next week, the Women's Championship on the line. PJ Vasa against Kendal Gray against Callie Armstrong. But it feels like Kendal might get past that. There was a little confrontation with Wendy Choo. Feels like a rematch might be loading. Okay, who's going to win? A little close, looking about 60-40. 63, say Sean Legacy. 37, say Jackson Drake. Right now we got Jackson Drake over by the ropes as Sean Legacy comes over. He's got Jackson Drake on the shoulders. And Jackson Drake on the outsides. Bang, working on the arm. Middle of the ring. Jackson Drake looking to springboard. Ooh. That was like a springboard sent on to the back. Spanish fly. 1, 2. Sean Legacy. Doesn't get it. Doesn't get it. Looking for another like STF. Crossface in. Reversed. Oh. Okay. Jackson Drake reverses that crossface. Okay. I see you. That's not bad. Crowd are right behind Legacy. We got Legacy chants. Yeah. I tell you, they've let these two go out there. They've given them time. This is two of the best male talents in Evolve. I think you'll see both of these do well in NXT. Legacy, look at the power. Look at the power. Single arm, sit down power bomb by Sean Legacy. Breaks the hold. Both guys are down. Both guys are selling. Jackson Drake takes off the wrist tape. I'm not sure why. Perhaps it was coming loose anyway. Both guys are down. Legacy trying to get back up to his feet. Jackson Drake trying to get back up to his feet. They're both getting up about the same time. Middle of the ring. Kick coming in there by Jackson Drake. Coming over. Big knee there by Jackson Drake. Against the ropes. Knee to the side of their heads. He did connect really well with that knee. Legacy against the ropes. Legacy down. Jackson Drake, knee to the back of the heads. I don't think this is going to get it. There's still a bit too much time. 1, 2. Oh, no, it did get it. Jackson Drake did get it. Mate, they swerved me with that. There was still like 5 minutes left to go. And I was like, oh, I don't think he's going to get it with it. And he did. Knee to the back of their heads. Wow. Wow, it's not Legacy that wins? I really fancied Legacy to get the win here. But no, it was not to be. Well, who's it going to be then? If it's not going to be Legacy, who is the one that's going to get this title from Jackson Drake? I really expected a moment where Legacy with just the faintest of kickouts. That's what I thought he was going to do. I was expecting that sort of just, do you know what I mean? I'm doing it, but I don't know I'm doing it. I'm like, well, who's going to be, who the flip's going to be then? Jackson Drake retaining that Evolve Championship against a very tough challenge in the ring with the Vanity Project, and that is the prize that everyone is chasing after. There's a few people in the VIP section. Oh, here we go. We've got some people coming out. Cam Hendricks coming out and I don't think killing it on the microphone. Harlem Lewis is here. Harlem Lewis? Well, it's been a while since we've seen Harlem Lewis, isn't it? Okay, well, it looks like Harlem Lewis is gonna... Is this gonna be the guy? This doesn't feel like the guy. If anyone's got a problem, you step to me right now. Swipe right. Taking their shirts off. I mean, there's 3 of them. I don't really get this. There's 3 of them. They run this show. You're telling me 3 of them couldn't murk Harlem Lewis right now? This is flat. I mean, they're saying Harlem Lewis is back. I don't even remember the last time I saw him, to be honest. Okay, well, maybe that wasn't the finish. I thought that's where we were going to end. We're outside with Charlie Dempsey and Timothy Thatcher. Oh, yeah, Charlie Dempsey's been trying to get this match, hasn't he, with Timothy Thatcher. Okay, Charlie Dempsey, Timothy Thatcher. I think that was a bit flat, to be honest. I think the problem I've got with that match is I just don't care about it. I mean, both of them are good in-ring pure wrestlers, but it's hard to get excited about a Charlie Dempsey match. It's kind of hard to get excited about a Timothy Thatcher match, to be honest. I mean, I don't think even his matches in Evolve have been bangers or like really well. It's a really specific style of wrestling that is, you just don't see it very often. It's pure wrestling. It's, you know, the kind of the steak is turned up, the sizzle is turned down. I think with that style of wrestling, like the selling, the technical side of it, like you've really got to know what you're looking out for. And I don't think WWE do a very good job of presenting it, to be honest with you. You know, I think that if you're going to do that style of wrestling, you've sort of got to educate your audience as to what the moves are and how hard they are to escape from. You need to educate your audience about the fact that, like, you know, you've got these moves that can't be reversed out of. That way, if you do reverse out of them, it means something. If people that are not exposed to that kind of pure form of wrestling don't see it on a regular basis and don't get given that kind of knowledge, I just don't think the matches work very well. I don't think they translate very well, but WWE seem to want to keep trying to present them because it's part of wrestling and they feel like they should. But that's not what you are. That's not what you do, and you're not very good at it. So I don't really understand why we need to do it in Evolve. Maybe it's just a little bit of like, someone will enjoy this. Let's do this, because someone might watch and enjoy it. And that's all we're looking for, really, is we're just trying to please everyone. We're just trying to put on something that people might enjoy. So let's try this now. Maybe there's a little bit of that, but it's very hard to get excited about Charlie Dempsey, Timothy Thatcher for me. And I'm someone that, you know, watches WWE all the time and has watched wrestling since the early 90s. But I just think if you're going to do that, you have to do it on a regular basis. It has to be a bit like New Japan, where, you know, you're really talking about the moves and you're really kind of exposing your audience to that kind of wrestling on a regular basis. Otherwise, I just don't think it works. I just don't think it works in this landscape. But anyway, you know, I was getting really bored of Charlie Dempsey asking Timothy Thatcher, come and fight. And Timothy Thatcher going, no, I'm not doing that. So at least we're getting the match, and it's going to be next week, and we can all move on with our lives. So there we go. That was Evolve. You can get your thoughts in and get your scores in as to what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? How did you rate it? What did you think about it? Wasn't Harlem Lewis on LFG? He's been in, I think he was probably, but he's been in this show before. He's someone that we've seen in Evolve. I could not tell you the last time I've seen him, though. I mean, it kind of felt like they were trying to make out like that was a big deal. Even the commentators were like, he looks like he's seen a ghost. So that makes me think, did they murk him maybe? Did they attack him? Did they do something? I don't know. I can't remember. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. Trini said, I'm off to beds. Stay safe. Stay blessed. I will see you all for SmackDown. Trini, shout out to you. Daze, Jericho, Danhausen, they're still on the active roster. Thoughts? Don't really have any thoughts. I mean, the word on the street is that it's done. And that Jericho should be out. I don't know about Danhausen. But, yeah, that was the last we heard, was that his contract was done. I'm still thinking it's looking pretty good for the Rumble. Maybe they just have not updated. I don't know where it's listed, if it's like on the website or whatever. I mean, I don't know if they've updated it or if someone's just overlooked it or whatever. I don't know. But, you know, it could be revealed that he's re-signed with AEW. But at the moment, I mean, I don't think you can read too much into it, because it could also just be that they haven't updated it and that they're not really in a rush to update it. Legally, I don't think they have to do anything. It's up to them. So, yeah, from what we heard, his contract was meant to be up. There's no word that he's re-signed. We thought there was maybe a chance he would appear on Monday, but looks like Rumble, if he is going to return. I think Rumble makes more sense. I don't think this changes my mind on anything. At the moment, I would say it's a bit of a nothing story, but obviously as time goes by, if it still doesn't get updated in like a week, 2 weeks, as we get closer to the Rumble, then it, becomes more of a story as days go by. So I would say something to keep an eye on at this stage, but not anything that's like, oh my God, we need to do a video or something, this is massive news. But, something to keep an eye on. But what's the thoughts on Gunther getting slapped? What do you mean? Oh, about AJ. I don't mind that. I don't mind him slapping him. Not a big fan of Gunther not doing anything in response, though. Don't really get that, to be honest. I like the fact that Gunther respects AJ's wrestling skills. And so, maybe there's a bit of a thought process there of, if we get in the fight, this is someone that could humble me and show me up, because this is someone that's very skilled. But even so, you're trying to build a monster here. You're trying to build a monster heel. I sort of feel like if you're going to cross that line and slap Gunther, I feel like Gunther should respond, really. So the slap I don't mind. The lack of a response I'm not keen on. It's not a big problem. Gunther can easily come out and say, I was in control. I was in control of my emotions. I was in control of the situation. I'm in control of my destiny. This is something you're not, AJ. You're not in control of your destiny. We know that you're getting towards the end of your time. And we know that, every victory is going to mean so much to you, because there's only so much time left. Well, I'm going to take some of that time away. I'm gonna end your career early, AJ. I'm going to ensure that you don't taste victory ever again, because, as I said, I'm the one that's in control. And I think if you was to present it maybe along those lines, people might go, "Oh, okay, I see what he's saying." That kind of explains why he didn't snap back. That kind of explains why he didn't respond when he got slapped. He got angry, but he controlled that anger. He was in control. And that, I think, there could be something to that. But, it's one of those where I still don't like it, to be honest. You can put a bit of a spin on it. You can find a way of verbalizing why he did not react. But still not crazy about it, to be honest. Part of me still wants him to be a monster. I mean, you don't want to poke the bear kind of a situation. I think I'd much rather it be a case where it is, AJ, looks like he's going to do it. Maybe teases he's going to do it. And Gunther kind of, reacts and AJ laughs and walks away. Maybe that would have been a bit better, And then Gunther could have been like, don't poke the bear, AJ. Don't poke the bear. I don't know. We've got to be so careful with Gunther, because I think him tapping out to Jay was a massive mistake that we're still paying for. The crowd at the drop of the hat love chanting, "You tapped out to Gunther," right? And we're talking about someone here that taps out or makes John Cena tap out, yet the crowd have got something they can chant at Gunther. And I think that's a mistake. And I think we're still paying for that mistake. And I think that you've got Gunther in a good place now. That victory over Cena has helped Gunther's aura. He feels like a bigger deal. He feels like, the hatred and the heat is, quite loud. This is why Triple H was loving it at the end of Saturday night's main event, because he knew that the fans now, the heat on Gunther had turned up. So that's why he was loving it. So, we're in a pretty good place with him. But, God, it's so hard to have confidence in this creative, isn't it? It's so hard to look at this creative team of WWE and think to yourself, this is going to be okay. Because at any point, they could mess this up. At any point they could flip and drop the ball. So I do get a bit worried that, they're going to do so much really dumb and they're going to ruin this. But the slap and the response, that wasn't enough by far to ruin anything. But please be careful. Shining Wizard said, I thought the last Raw was good. I've seen some comments saying that the Jericho thing and all the biggest event promotions and hype didn't come from anything that WWE put out there. No, I mean, I said this during I can't remember what. I think it was during Unseen earlier. I think there's a few things that happen. WWE is huge. And I genuinely, and I could be proved wrong on this, right? But I genuinely believe that Adam Pearce kind of does those Raw previews off his own back. I think Adam Pearce is someone that likes a bit of spotlight. And, he was a wrestler. He was a champion in NWA. I think he's enjoying being the GM. And I think he's trying to figure out what that GM role means. What does that GM role mean? What are his responsibilities in that role? What is it that he should do? I mean, we don't get a video from Nick Aldis every Thursday night for SmackDown, but we do get one on a regular basis from Adam Pearce, and it goes out on his personal channel. I don't believe it goes on the WWE channel, and he does it whilst walking his dog, right? Which again says to me that this is not something WWE have necessarily requested, because it goes onto his personal channel, because it's whilst walking the dog, because I think he is someone that likes to interact with the fans, and we see him do like little promos in the car and little bits and bobs, right? I get the feeling that he does those Raw previews off his own back. It's not something WWE are necessarily telling him that he has to do. So if that is true, and he does them off his own back, I don't think WWE are necessarily sending him a script for him to read, which would say to me that the words that he's saying in the video is basically off the top of his head. It's him going, it's a lovely day today, guys. I hope you're all having a good day. We've got a massive Raw on deck for you this week. We've got some really big matches. We are going to see Becky Lynch taking on Maxine Dupree. Could Becky get that Women's Intercontinental Championship back? We're going to find out on Monday on Raw. And for me, like, he's just doing that, yeah? Talking to the camera, previewing the show, and listen, he's a cheeky chappy. He has rickrolled people in the past where he's said major announcement, urgent announcement, and when you click on it, it's him in the car going, I've got something really important to tell you. And then it goes into the rickroll thing, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, and he's done that in the past. So for me, this is a guy that makes the Raw preview himself whilst walking his dog, says it's not scripted by WWE, and I think is someone that enjoys trolling the fans. And I think that he has seen everyone talking about Jericho, 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 Jericho. And what he's gone and done is at the end of his video has said, we're going to look to tear the walls down this Monday on Netflix, on Raw. Right? Something along those lines. And I've got very little doubt that he has said that as a little troll to those people that watch his Raw preview. The problem is, everyone's jumped on it. Everyone's picked up on it. Everyone's gone, oh my God, have you seen the Adam Pearce video? Right? And all of a sudden, everyone's convinced that this is basically WWE telling you Jericho's going to be on Raw. And honestly, so many people were pointing to that video and that moment going, it's happening. Did you not see the Adam Pearce video? Are you stupid? Do you not know what break the walls down means? Did you not know that was connected to Jericho? It's like, dude, we're in different universes. Like, you are getting so carried away with just an absolute nothing comment that I think Adam Pearce has put in to troll the fans. And again, I have to stress, I said this before Raw even started. If you go to the couple of hours that we do, the chat we do, before Raw, I said I will not be shocked if it turns out that is just him trolling, because that is what he does. And those are the kind of things he likes to throw in there. But honestly, it is shocking the way that it works. It is really shocking the way that it works. Like how powerful that is. And how that is enough to convince people that Jericho's coming in and this is happening. So, whenever people are like, said about Jericho, that was like the primary piece of evidence for it. I mean, there have been some rumors that his contract was done with AEW and that they were looking to bring him in, and it could be Monday, it could be the Rumble. So, I mean, there was that as the background, but there was no report that I ever saw that was like from Fightful or Dave Meltzer or PW Insider. There was nothing that said Jericho is definitely going to be there. There was nothing. And if you spoke to most people as to like, why are you so convinced, they would point to that Adam Pearce video. And for me, that Adam Pearce video is more than likely him trolling. I think they tried to explain it after by going, oh, no, he was actually talking about Stranger Things. But again, I included it in Unseen. Sean Ross Sapp has debunked that. Sean Ross Sapp came out and went LMAO. No, it wasn't. It was absolutely nothing to do with Stranger Things. But I think it was that was a troll job that got out of hand, and so they needed to find a way of trying to explain it. They needed to find a way, because they can't really turn around and say, oh, he was trolling you and you lot fell for it, right? Because that does not reflect very well on him or the company or whatever, right? So instead, they've had to find a different way of explaining it. And I think they've gone with the line of, oh, yeah, no, it was, it was Strange Things. It was all to do with Strange Things. That's what that was. So I genuinely, I believe, unless I'm proven wrong or comes out in the future to be something else, I genuinely believe that's what happened on Monday with that situation. This is why when people say WWE told us Jericho was going to be there, I would be like, nah, I don't think they did. I think Adam Pearce took it upon himself to maybe do that. I'm not convinced WWE told him to do that. And I didn't see anything from WWE on the official channels that sort of teased anything. I got to be honest as well, I think Corey did the same. During the show, Corey actually made some references to the learning tree and whatever. That could just be by mistake, coincidence, right? I mean, when he says, the learning tree of Paul Heyman or something, I think he was talking about Bron Breakker sitting under the learning tree of Paul Heyman. That could be coincidence. If you think of the amount of stuff Corey says during a 2.5 hour broadcast, if you can connect something to Jericho, then it could be coincidental. Or Corey also has got a history of doing this, as I pointed out, when CM Punk was coming back. Corey, in the weeks leading up to Survivor Series and Chicago, was saying things like best in the world, and it was being picked up and people were getting very excited. Granted, Punk does return at Survivor Series, but Corey did not know that it was happening. It was a big surprise and Corey was not in on it, which means when he was saying things on the Raws leading up to Survivor Series, he did not know that Punk was coming in and he was trolling. And there's every chance he's doing that again as well. I mean, maybe Triple H needs to turn around to people and go, can you stop doing this? Because you're really upsetting the fan base. You're trolling the fans and it's actually working because they're believing you. And then when it doesn't happen, they're getting upset. So can we stop doing this? Because it is having a negative effect on how people are viewing the shows, right? So I think the Jericho thing is really interesting. I still think there's a really good chance he comes in at the Rumble. I think there's a good chance. I don't have anything to base it on other than the streets are saying that, yes, his contract expired. There's no word that he's re-signed with AEW. The only thing keeping him linked with AEW is that he's still showing on some active roster. Could very much just be they've not updated that. It could have been like an oversight or something. It might get updated, this week, tomorrow, the weekend, who knows? It could be someone's job on Saturday to do that. I don't know. There's no rush, is there, to do it? It's not like, oh my God, we need to get someone urgently on that right now if you're AEW. If anything, keeping him on there a little bit longer is good because people are talking about AEW. People are like, have you seen he's still on the AEW roster? Which is keeping them in the conversation, isn't it? So in that regard, you go, do we need to rush? If I'm Tony Khan, do I need to rush? Might as well have people talking about me. All those conversations happening in the wrestling fan base. Have you heard Jericho's still on the AEW roster? It's just free promotion, isn't it? So there's no rush to take him off that thing. So I don't know. I don't think you can read too much into that, but it is something to keep an eye on. In regards to will he be in the Rumble, we don't know for certain, but I think there's a really good chance. So, yeah, I think there's all of that that's been kind of going on, which, I think that's why, the show kind of got a bit of pushback. I actually thought the show was pretty good, genuinely. I saw a bit of pushback that the Stranger Things set they didn't go far enough with the Stranger Things theming. I don't think any of the wrestlers kind of dressed up as any of the characters. They didn't have any of the cast. There wasn't like a backstage thing. I will agree, it failed to get me to want to watch it. You had an opportunity there to reach out to some people that have not seen Stranger Things and convince them you need to watch this show. And they failed to do that. I don't have any interest in watching it. I still don't know what it's about. And they had a whole themed Raw where I think they could have done a much better job. There wasn't even really like an overview of the show or anything, was there? There wasn't even really anything to tell you what the show was about. I mean, there was that one weird moment backstage where Adam Pearce was in front of that whatever, and he was like, "What the hell's this?" He looked at it and went, "What the hell's this?" I mean, if I'm someone that works for Stranger Things or I work for Netflix, I'm not going to be thrilled at that little moment. I kind of feel like that's really the best that we've come up with. A little prop backstage, and you've got someone there looking at it going, "What's this?" Oh, brilliant! Great work, well done from the minds that brought us the creative in 2025. I can only imagine it's them. I can only imagine that's more of their good work. Yeah, some prop or creature or whatever it was backstage, and Adam Pearce looks at it and goes, "What's that? What's this? What the hell is this?" Well done. That's brilliant promotion for Stranger Things. Well done, everyone. Well done. I don't know why we didn't do something better. Like, I think we saw like some glimpses of the show, but I don't even remember seeing a trailer. I don't remember seeing anything that actually showed me what the show was about or anything like that. I mean, to be honest, I'm not bothered though, am I? Why do I care? I don't give a flip about Strange Things. I did not tune into Raw looking at it thinking, is this going to get me to watch Stranger Things? So, I mean, it doesn't affect my score in the slightest, but it is a talking point in the sense of you failed. You definitely failed. I don't know that anyone tuned into Raw that doesn't watch Stranger Things and afterwards thought, I'll give that a go. I'll give that a go. That looks fun. I don't know that it had that effect on anyone. I'd be very interested to know if it did. If it did, I don't think it was a sizable number, right? I think most people know Stranger Things now anyway, don't they? I think most people are aware of the show's existence. So, I don't know. In that regard, it failed. In one regard, it succeeded, though. And as I said in my, I think, breakdown video, it did make Raw feel different. I'm so bored of all the arenas feeling the same. I'm so bored of every week tuning in. It's just generic arena, generic arena, generic arena. Every arena feels the same. Doesn't matter where we are, what state we're in, what building we're in. Every flipping arena just feels like the exact same arena. Some have got 2 levels. Some have got 1. And that's, but then you can't even see the missing level sometimes. That's the only difference. You can only ever tell, right? Sometimes we might change the entranceway if it's really busy and we need like just a smaller entranceway. So sometimes we change that. I mean, that gets my blood pumping. That's about as exciting as it gets. Yeah. I mean, that is the good stuff when we do that. So you can imagine how satisfying it was to see those vines and whatever the creatures were on the floor, a bus or whatever it was, camper van thing in the entranceway, some chain link fencing. You know, there was a bit of some set design. There was some set design, right? It was all themed around Strange Things. Didn't have a flipping clue what any of it was, but at least it was something different. Yeah, at least it was something different. I mean, blooming hell, I don't even mind when we bring out the odd Christmas tree for Christmas. At least that makes it feel a bit different as well. So for me, it did not succeed in getting me to want to watch Stranger Things, but I still was appreciative of the fact it was not generic Arena A or generic Arena B. Again, you know, we did at least get a slightly different flavour. Shining Wizard said, thanks for a wonderful community. Shout out to you, my friends. Shining Wizard, appreciate it, buds. Yeah, we probably need to wrap things up, don't we? We stuck around a little bit after, but I don't mind doing that. I like talking wrestling. You know that. I know that. Right, we have got Great 59. So Great 59, good 41, no bads. So Great 59, I think that's fair for that match. I think that's fair. It did not blow my mind. It's certainly not the greatest Evolve match I've ever seen, but it's probably worthy of getting into that great range. Great 50 Summit is normally low-end great, so yeah, I think that's fair. So there we go, that was Evolve. We'll read a couple of comments, and then we'll get out of here. Robbie said, I feel a bit bad for Becky, Maxine, Liv, Lyra. They had Jericho chants throughout the matches, and they didn't deserve that. Montel said, Daze, can you say, hi guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze? I say it all the time. Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to the very end of this Evolve stream. That is where we're going to wrap things up. So if you have just joined us, you're too goddamn late. You should have been here hours ago. So yes, awesome. We are back tomorrow with a member stream. We are back tomorrow with a wrestling escape pods. We are back tomorrow with an unseen. We are back on Friday with a SmackDown stream, which hopefully is going to keep the good times rolling because it's a big one. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, I believe we're in Germany. Championship on the line. Drew has got a chance. I don't think he gets it, but he's got a chance. I know many of you are going to be hoping that he does. I'm already preparing myself for people being upset if he doesn't do it. But yeah, we'll see. He's got a chance. So big SmackDown on deck. Make sure you get your rest. Make sure you're ready. It's going to be a good show, hopefully. I think they've done a pretty good start to 2026. So hopefully we can continue that on Friday. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate it as always. I'll see you again next time.